So, time for something a little bit different, right? A little bit of a unique, fun sort of build. A floating, death-bringing bird from above. Zephyr's got some changes with update 29.10 and it's put a bit of life back into those wings. Let's be real, though she has always been a Warframe that's hovered around the bottom of the most used pile of Warframes at the end of every year, because other Warframes are more effective, I guess, at what she can do. She needed some love, there's no doubt about that, and she definitely got a little bit of it, but in my opinion she could do with a little bit more. So to kind of stop the burnout of myself when playing Warframe, I've been looking around for more unique kind of standout builds that don't revolve around the same kind of meta setups of spamming your melee button with brief respite as the aura so that you could use shield gating cheese as well. And this build definitely fits that kind of uniqueness for me. However, it's definitely not going to be for everyone. I get to use my guns in Steel Path and blitz my way through large groups of enemies with this setup, but the build definitely goes against the fast-paced nature of Warframe. It is a gimmick build, there's no denying that, and it also has a weakness in getting hit by any melee weapon whatsoever, so there is always the danger about that. Now, the build was originally shared on Reddit by a user called Panda Proppy, so a shout out to Panda, who looks like a Zephyr main, and it revolves around making Zephyr hover around the map while dropping as much damage bombs, I guess, on top of your tornadoes. Use whatever high crit powered weapon you want to. I've decided to use my Cougar Brack and of course my Cedo as well for spreading elements. But the changes that Zephyr has had revolve around changes to her Tailwind, her Airburst ability and her passive and her Tornadoes, which are the two changes that this build gets its strength from. Zephyr's new passive will add a stacking bonus of 150% crit chance to your primary, secondary or your melee damage while airborne. So you only get this buff while you are airborne, which sounds really good, but you're not exactly going to be using melee a whole lot while flying around or while hovering, but you can use it to boost your guns, especially since you will be hovering or flying around a lot with this setup. And you can do that simply by holding down by charging up her first ability. So a bonus of 150% crit chance to any gun with a decent crit will mean orange and yellow crit numbers all the time. Then when you add in the changes to her tornadoes, which allows you to place them down stationary to create a choke point by charging the ability, or you can tap it to have them continue to roam around like the old tornadoes. Now her tornadoes also have a larger pull area to them with this update. Bigger suck, so you can pull more enemies in to the center of them. But Zephyr's tornadoes, when shot, will deal a bonus of 200% crit damage multiplier to enemies caught up in those tornadoes, so the damage will be spread around to any enemy that's near that tornado once you shoot it. It will also convert the damage that you're dealing to that tornado to whatever element that you just shot it with, while also considering you're gaining the bonus of 150% crit chance for flying with Zephyr's passive as well. So you're buffed with bonus crit chance and you're dealing bonus crit multiplier damage as well. So it makes sense bringing a high crit powered weapon with you. Now, another weapon that I used when testing this out was the Kuva Shakur, which hits way harder with red crits, but it has got a slower fire rate, so I didn't enjoy it as much. I decided to take my Cedo to spread elements with its all fire. Also, the explosions you get from that when it hits tornadoes is bloody great to see. Now, this is the Zephyr build used for this footage, mostly for duration, to slow down the energy drain you get from hovering in the air, because it can be quite aggressive if you don't have a decent duration, and for keeping the Volt Shock buff active, which I added by subsuming it onto my Zephyr instead of her Airburst, similar to what Panda Proppy had in his build as well. Now, the Anchored Glide augment will remove the slow fall that you get from Zephyr from running around or jumping around, that kind of floaty feeling that she has, but it will give you a bonus of 15% power strength to your build as well. Aerodynamic as the Aura slot and of course Aviator as the Exilus mod will reduce a lot of incoming damage while you hover around mid-air, and her Turbulence ability will honestly help removing the rest of it. So you're left kind of floating above your enemies, taking minimal damage because of your Aura slot, because of your Exilus slot, and because of that Turbulence ability as well, while also getting the boost of 150% crit chance buff and the dealing 200% crit bonus damage when you shoot those tornadoes. And honestly, the range on the tornadoes now with enemies even remotely close to them, it spreads that damage really, really well. So like I said, the build is a gimmick one, right? There's no denying that. It's not going to be for everyone. You might like it, you might fucking hate it. It might be the completely opposite of what you want. That's fine. I'm just looking for something different. It completely revolves around hovering and gaining buffs while reducing the incoming damage and shooting your tornadoes with your gun of choice. Now, if you have any other weird or standout builds that you want to share, then feel free to share them. Let me know, and I will quite happily showcase your build of choice. But let me know what you think of Zephyr since the changes. I will have another video up hopefully tomorrow going over what I think of the, I guess, the Railjack 3.0. I have had knee replacement surgery, so it's kind of, I have good days and bad days where I'm going to be able to make a video, and other days where I'm going to be in too much pain and on too much medication that I won't be able to. It's going to take anything from 8 weeks to, I guess, 3-4 months to finally get back on my feet. So it is going to be a slow process. But like I said, I'll try and get more videos out. Let me know what you think of Zephyr, and as always, thanks for watching.